The story of Esther. Courage, faith, and divine destiny. Esther's story begins in a place of loss and uncertainty. She was a young Jewish woman living in exile, far from her homeland, raised by her cousin Mordecai after losing her parents. Nothing about her life seemed destined for greatness. Yet even in the quiet, unseen moments, God was already at work, moving pieces, aligning paths, preparing her for something far bigger than she could imagine. At that time, the Persian king, King Xerxes I, removed his queen and began searching for a new one. Women from across the kingdom were brought into the palace, and Esther was among them. She didn't fight for attention or try to stand out. Instead, she carried a quiet grace that drew favor from those around her. In time, the king chose her, and Esther became queen. But even in the palace, she held a secret. She did not reveal that she was Jewish. Meanwhile, a powerful official named Haman rose to authority. He demanded honor and respect from everyone, but Mordecai refused to bow to him. That single act of defiance ignited a deep hatred within Haman. Consumed by pride and anger, he devised a plan, not just to punish Mordecai, but to destroy all Jewish people throughout the kingdom. A decree was issued, a date was set. What began as one man's pride turned into a threat against an entire nation. When Mordecai learned of the plot, he reached out to Esther. She was now in a position of influence, but it came with a cost. Approaching the king without being summoned could mean death. The risk was real, and the fear was undeniable. Esther stood at a crossroads: remain silent and stay safe, or speak up and risk everything. Mordecai sent her a message that would echo through generations. Perhaps she had been placed in this position for such a time as this. Something shifted within her. Esther didn't act out of fear or impulse. She turned to faith. She called for a fast, asking her people to pray with her for 3 days. In that stillness, courage was born, not from her own strength, but from trusting God's unseen hand. Then she stepped forward. She entered the king's court, fully aware of what it could cost her. But instead of rejection, she found favor. The king welcomed her, extending grace where there could have been judgment. With wisdom and patience, Esther invited the king and Haman to a banquet. Then another. She waited for the right moment, and when the time came, she spoke boldly. She revealed her identity. She exposed Haman's plan. Everything changed. The king was outraged. Haman's scheme collapsed, and the very harm he intended for others became his own downfall. The Jewish people were saved. What looked like coincidence was never random. Esther's life was guided by divine purpose. Every delay, every hidden moment, every decision leading her to that defining point. Her story is a powerful reminder. Courage doesn't always begin with confidence, and faith doesn't require perfect clarity. Sometimes it simply means stepping forward when it matters most, trusting that God has positioned you exactly where you need to be for such a time as this.